Hi guys, welcome to the Fearless Weekly Energy Update for March 28th to April 3rd. I'm just surprised that next week is April already. Like, when did that happen? How fast this year is going is crazy, insane. We're going to be joined by the birds today. They're very chatty out the window. So there's like this pleasant little chattering that's happening over here. My computer's all off. That's strange. Anyway, so this week is going to be really interesting in the energies. We have the Libra full moon that's happening on Sunday. That's going to be, it's been purifying already. I'm doing this video on Saturday. So right now we're in the Virgo moon. So we're leading up to the Libra full moon stage. And I know this week I myself did a whole bunch of purging already. So wherever Libra is showing in your chart is where this is going to affect you the most. So for example, for myself, I'm a Libra rising, and this is literally like 2 degrees. This Libra full moon is happening like 2 degrees away from my rising sign. So I'm feeling it pretty deeply, and we'll get into the details of that. But there's been really this lead up in the last few days for this Libra full moon, and it's going to be super purifying. It's really to help us with our relationships. The Aries Libra axis is all about the relationships. I am going to be doing an extensive Libra full moon video looking at all of the pieces of what's going to be happening with this Libra full moon and talking about the Aries Libra axis in my memberships if you guys would like to see that, as well as daily energy updates. We do mid-month readings for all of the signs. And we have a Discord that's really amazing. It's a super fun group to be a part of. We also do meditation. So I'll be doing a ritual and a meditation for the Libra full moon tomorrow night for the top tier members in the membership. So we would love to have you there. It's so fun. It really is. It's a great group of people. It's like family. It's awesome. Like being on the Discord app and just being like sharing memes and like saying whatever we want to say on the Discord app is just fun with you, like just venting, and it's really nice support system. So we would love to have you there. Also happening this week, and we'll get into day to day here in a minute, we have Saturn is going to be sextiling Venus, and he's also going to be sextiling the sun. So it's going to be a really good week to get some projects done, things that maybe you've been putting off. This is going to be like that spring cleaning week, you know, that week that everybody like really starts to get all excited about throwing stuff. I know that I'm going to be doing it actually on the full moon tomorrow. I'll be doing a lot of spring cleaning tomorrow, and you know, just like, I mean, let's just get rid of all of the bullshit of 2020. I feel like that's what this Libra full moon is kind of doing for all of us, and including the emotional stuff too. So, you know, remember that it's not just about purging the physical, it's also purging the emotional. So there are going to be a few things like that happening this week, and we also have some stuff going on with Neptune and Mercury. So it's going to be a really a good week to get jump started on some of your projects that you've probably been putting off until you felt like it, and now is probably the time that you're going to feel a little bit more like to do it. So talking about the full moon in Libra, this is going to be opposite. So it's at 8 degrees in Libra. It's going to be opposing the sun, obviously, because that's what a full moon is when it opposes the sun. But Venus is conjunct the sun. We had that Venus Cazimi on Friday. And Venus is actually going to be conjunct the sun all day today on Saturday and all through the full moon, and then finally pulling apart from the sun on Monday at 1 degree, but staying very, very close with each other all week long. Venus and the sun are sort of like in cahoots all week long. So, you know, and it's funny because Venus is, you know, I don't necessarily look at Venus when I look at relationships, because to me, Venus is more of the vain, the short term. It's not a long lasting relationship. Now, Saturn, if we want to build something that's strong, we're going to learn lessons, and Saturn is going to teach us relationship stuff by learning lessons. But Venus is that short term. But she's very much about beauty. She's very much about, and she can be very vain, but you know, the luxury and the beauty. So it's really how you are using that energy not just for your own benefit, but for everybody. So like Venus is not just about your personal values, but also how you value other people, and how you're valuing yourself is going to show how you also value other people. Because if you don't value yourself very well, you're not going to value other people at all. Like, that's just kind of the way it goes. Because why would you want to? Why would you want to boost everybody else's self-esteem when your self-esteem isn't doing so hot, right? So Venus is really kind of that energy that wants to show us our values and how we're valuing ourselves, but it's also about luxury and beauty. And when you're heavily, there's kind of a joke that when you're heavily influenced by Venus in your own natal chart, that you like to take naps and that you like to just kind of lounge around. You know, Tauruses are very well known for their eating, which I think is a very big cliche, but I mean, I don't know a Taurus that doesn't enjoy their food. So I guess that works, but food is also, you know, like certain types of food and the way you can make it very luxurious and sensual. And really that's what Venus is kind of doing, especially in Aries right now. With an Aries Venus, it's a little bit more fiery, action oriented. And then we also are going to have Chiron conjunct the sun and Venus, all at 8 degrees, opposing this Libra full moon. And Chiron is the wounded healer. We've talked about Chiron before. Chiron is that centaur that sacrificed himself for the good of humanity, right? So Chiron is where we find our wounding, but that's also where we find our strength. And we also find how to help heal other people through our Chiron wound. So wherever you have Chiron in your chart, that's where you're going to look to one of the woundings. Of course, there are several woundings in our chart, but Chiron is a pretty big one. And when I found out what my Chiron, because I have Chiron in Taurus in the 8th house, and when I found out what that meant for me, I was like, oh wow, okay, this makes a whole lot, like it just made my entire life make sense in just, you know, one placement of my chart. Like everything fell into place, and that's what made me fall in love with astrology, was my Chiron placement of all placements. So Chiron isn't necessarily here just to tear us down. Chiron is here to build us up, especially in Aries. So when we're coupling the sun, which is our source of strength, which is our self, right, our higher selves, we're coupling the sun with Venus and Chiron with this full moon. There's this purifying that we're all going through. It's you know, cleansing our souls and cleansing those really deep wounds that we refuse to look at. And it's all going to be really, really based on our value system. Now add that Aries and Libra axes to it, and it's about relationships. And the Aries Libra axes, you know, teaches us that without the relationship with ourself, Aries, right? Without the relationship with ourself, any other relationship isn't going to survive, which is Libra. Libra is also about justice and, you know, balancing the scales. You have no idea, like the Libra energy that tries to balance their lives out it's kind of hilarious to be able to watch something like that, because we're always like constantly going between, you know, should we do it this way or should we do it this way, or should there be like an even balance of it? We don't even really know what to do, and people call that really wishy-washy, but it's just because we want all the details first. That's all I'm saying. We just want the details first. So allowing this full moon to show you and amplify those wounds that, and this one you're not going to be able to hide from. Like that's the big thing is, you know, you're not going to be able to hide from the wounds, and without recognizing what these wounds are in order for us to heal and to move forward, we're never going to do it. We'll just keep on running in that hamster wheel, hoping that somebody's going to fill up our water bottle soon, or hoping that we're going to get some food soon, and just waiting for things to happen instead of healing ourselves and being able to move with the energy, because the energy is clear. When we heal ourselves, every single time you heal a wound, you level yourself up and you clear out that path for you to keep moving to. So that's what this Libra full moon is going to do for us, and has already really started. I don't know about you guys. You'll have to let me know, but I mean, just even the last couple of days, like this last week and the last couple of days were very eye-opening for me in several ways. So, and a lot of it has to do with my relationships, like, and most of it is, where am I being too independent and I'm not allowing other people to help me, because that's a really big thing. When you're super independent, that's a trauma response. When you're ultra independent, that's a trauma response. So recognizing when you are overly independent and not allowing anybody to help you, that means you're shut down. That means you're restricted. So that was one of the things, that was one of my lessons that I had to learn this week. So Monday we're still integrating the full moon energy. The Libra moon, the moon will still be in Libra. It will be squaring with Pluto, trining with Saturn, squaring with Pluto. And so we will really be super, super introspective with that. On top of that, Mercury is going to be conjunct Neptune on Monday. And so Neptune is often reveled as like really spiritual, really, and it's not that Neptune isn't really spiritual, it's just Neptune is very, very deep. Neptune is much heavier energy than people make it out to be. People think that we're just going to be creative, intuitive, and spiritual, and we're going to be connecting with everybody with this Mercury-Neptune conjunction. And while that might be true, it's going to be on a very, very deep level. It's going to be on, like, you're going to recognize in your life those things that you have been ignoring, those things that there might be a tendency for you to brush over the details on Monday and not pay attention to what's happening so much on Wednesday or on Monday, but on Tuesday and Wednesday, it sort of becomes clear as Mercury starts to move away from Neptune, like, oh, wow, I was really making this situation, like this needs to be more, I need to pay more attention to this situation over here. Or maybe you're kind of like getting the wool pulled over your eyes in a relationship or something like that. This Mercury-Neptune conjunction is going to be like, it'll be cloudy at first, and then after, once Mercury breaks away, it's almost like this clarity and this realization that's going to happen. And I know that that's not really a popular opinion with a lot of people, but Neptune isn't all bright, shiny, and sunny. I don't know if you've ever met a Pisces person, but they're very deep, introspective people. Like, sometimes it's very hard to get to know a Pisces because they hold stuff so close to them. They are not really necessarily born with boundaries, so they have to learn that along the way. But Pisces are much deeper than people give them credit for. So there are a lot of things that you should be paying attention to. There's going to be a lot of heightened psychic energy, and having an open intuition and having really high psychic energy and being extra sensitive about things all sounds really fun and dandy to somebody who doesn't live that every single day, right? Like the plight of somebody who is a psychic, the plight of somebody who does have very strong intuition, going through a Mercury conjunct Neptune transit can be a little bit difficult because it's like extra, extra, extra. So it's almost as if everything is going to be very amplified with this. Mercury is amplifying that psychic ability, that intuition. Some people get really bad headaches when Mercury conjuncts Neptune, or Mercury has any kind of aspect to Neptune, really. So just kind of pay attention. That day will probably be a pretty deeply introspective day, especially since we're coming off of that full moon energy. I feel like the first couple of days of the week are going to be a little bit heavier than maybe last week was. I think that Aries, the sun being in Aries, is bringing a lightness to the atmosphere. But like, for example, on Tuesday, we have Venus sextiling Saturn. And having Saturn involved with Venus and the sun, Venus on Tuesday, the sun on Wednesday, there's a seriousness. There's this, Venus sextile Saturn is a really good day to work on business stuff. Because Venus also represents money and the material and the monetary luxury, right? So, and luxury can be money and luxury can be rest. It can be, all of those things. So, Venus sextiling Saturn, really wanting to work towards long-term benefits and gains when it comes to monetary stuff, but also when it comes to relationships, when it comes to our own value system. Again, I don't necessarily place Venus in the relationship sector, but she will have an influence on Saturn with the relationship sector. And any kind of relationship that's based in a Saturnian kind of way, which means that it's built from the ground up. There's a foundation there, right? And you take time and you allow yourself to integrate and integrate with each other and grow and evolve with each other, but it always starts with a foundation, and that's what Saturn represents. Saturn represents father time, right? So anything that's done with patience and determination is always going to outlast, it's going to stand the test of time. So that's what Saturn is there for. Venus is sort of just helping him on his way. The moon will be in Scorpio, opposing Uranus and squaring Saturn. So again, there's that deep introspect, Scorpio moon. I don't think that it's going to be as tough as maybe past Scorpio moons that we've had, but definitely having this, doing the square to Saturn in Aquarius, doing the square or doing the opposition to Uranus and Taurus, there could be some emotional outbursts, especially if you're recognizing in your relationships or in your situations, you're learning the lesson and the lesson isn't fun to learn. And sometimes they just really aren't a whole lot of fun to learn. And you're recognizing, coupled with that Libra full moon and what Saturn is going to show you this week, that maybe so much you're not supposed to be in that relationship, or maybe so much you're not supposed to be doing that project, or maybe so much there's something in your life you do need to shift based on how your values are now. Because when we try to base things on what our value system was in the past, it's never going to work because things have changed. We have new values. We are looking at things in a different way. That's why everybody who's talking about getting back to normal when it comes to life, like after the pandemic and everybody gets the vaccine and everybody gets back to normal and whatever, there is no such thing as going back to the way it was. It will forever be changed from here on out. And that's just the way that it goes. That's how we evolve. That's what evolution is. And sometimes we need a shakeup, like an entire world pandemic, to shift the energy of what needs to happen instead of staying stagnant. Or course correction, right? It's kind of like the Tower card in tarot, where you're like the course correction. And so Venus sextile Saturn is going to show you what you need to be productive on and the things that you need to start leaving behind and not really paying attention so much to anymore. Sun sextile Saturn on Wednesday. So this is going to be a really big desire to get a lot of work done as well. This is going to be a really big desire to pay attention to those projects that you have been putting off and putting off and putting off, those things that you really want to pay attention to for gains later on in this year. Aries season is about planting the seed, and this week is going to be a really great time to plant the seed. So spring clean everything out and get everything replanted in. The moon is going to be in Scorpio, trining Neptune and Mercury. So we're still going to be having this really deep psychic connection thing happening with that Mercury-Neptune conjunction on Monday, and then having the Scorpio moon for the next couple of days after that. So lots of introspective conversations. There's going to be a lot of deep stuff coming out this week, I think, for on an individual personal basis. There's going to be a lot of deep stuff happening for people this week because we're all getting back. We're all like getting our lives back or getting back to life, and we have to reevaluate. We really have to do clean out the clutter. And again, that doesn't just mean clean out your closet, which I will be doing, but it's also cleaning out your proverbial closet as well, where it's just like all of that stuff that you've been storing for so long. It's just time to get rid of and move on. So Thursday, I need a drink. Thursday, we have the moon in Sagittarius. The moon in Sagittarius is trining Chiron, the sun in Aries. So it's going to be a really fiery day. So after all of that deep introspection and clearing out stuff, people are going to come out on Thursday, maybe a little bit aggro, maybe a little bit angry. Sagittarius moon time is usually pretty optimistic, but with all of this fire that's happening, I'm going to say Thursday is one of those days where you should probably just stay in your own lane. If you are paying attention to what other people are doing too much and something annoys you, that is your bad and nobody else's bad. Do you see what I'm saying? So really allowing yourself to not be careless, pay attention, be super, super aware, especially driving on a really fiery day like that. So there's going to be a lot of action, and just remember to slow down. It's also going to be conjuncting the South Node. So there might be a lot of past patterns and past behaviors that start to show up on Thursday. Try not to let that get the best of you. Be like, nope, I don't want to deal. I'm not going back to the past. That's not happening. Friday, the 2nd of April, we have the moon in Sagittarius squaring Neptune, squaring Mercury, opposing Mars in Gemini. So again, another really fast-paced creative day. Mercury is going to be sextiling Pluto, so there's a lot of strong communication, deeper connections. This whole week is really going to be about deep connections, but Mercury sextiling Pluto is also about the regeneration. Like, that's going to be a good day to be able to talk about your feelings big time. Having the moon in Sagittarius squaring Neptune is going to really help us be a little bit more vulnerable, I think. People don't recognize that a moon in Sagittarius is very vulnerable. I'm a moon in Sagittarius. It's a very vulnerable placement to have. We are just so fun-loving that sometimes people really take advantage of that sometimes. But opposing Mars, there's almost this need to like get the last of, like, it feels like the need to get the last of the gas tank empty, or something needs to be wrapped up in a really big way, something, and you might have to take action on something to do that, having that fiery moon going on. But Mercury sextiling Pluto, there's no surface level. When Mercury is sextile Pluto, there's nothing that can be surface level, and a Sagittarius moon doesn't like surface level either. So there's just this need to be very, very honest about the things that are going on in your life and really, really speaking your truth. Saturday, going into the weekend next week, we have the moon in Capricorn, trining Uranus, squaring Chiron. We also have Venus and Ceres conjunct. Ceres is it's the nurturer, it's the grower. That'll be a really good day. Venus with Ceres conjunct next Saturday. Get out there in your garden, man. Really like spruce up that yard and make things pretty, or go get some fresh flowers and just brighten up your space and allow your, feel better. Just feel better. This is going to be a really good spring cleaning week. Lots of self-care and nurturing. Pay attention to your emotional reactions. That moon in Capricorn is probably going to make it a really, really chill kind of Saturday. But even with trining Uranus and squaring Chiron, there could be opportunities of triggering. There could be a lot of triggers that come up. And really this whole week, you could see the triggers coming up. And if you don't see the triggers coming up this week, they may have happened already last week before the full moon. But I guarantee you that this is going to be a very purifying time. And it's really kind of like spring cleaning. It's, that's what the Libra full moon always represents for me, is spring cleaning, because when the Aries moon comes up in a couple of weeks, I'm going to want to start planting, getting things moving forward with that. So just super, super pay attention to the lessons that are being shown to you, especially when it comes to the things that you value and how you're valuing other people. That needs to be a really, really big thing, especially with Saturn, especially with Venus sextile Saturn in Aquarius. So Aquarius is, it's like we want to evolve. It's for the betterment of everybody, not just the betterment of us. But the more you better yourself, the easier it's going to be to better other people as well. So really just pay attention to all of that stuff. Thanks for hanging out with me again. Really had a good time with you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon for the April general readings. If you would like to get a reading with me, I do have 20% off. I have 8 slots left for tarot readings that are 20% off. After that, they'll go back to full price. That information is in the description box. You can use the code TAROT20, TAROT 20 on my website. Just click book a session, and it's the 30-minute tarot reading. Love you guys. Have a good week. Bye.